Aaron Lee Tasjan, welcome to eTown. I have to say, I was listening to those songs like Truth Is So Hard, and the chord changes are so cool, and they are slightly nostalgic somehow to me. And so is that a Britpop thing that you studied and kind of got inside of and figured out how that works?
I think harmony in music I learned mostly from jazz music. I played in a lot of big bands as a young man, and so my guitar hero was a guy who never played a solo ever.
Wes Montgomery or something like that?
A guy named Freddie Green.
Oh, Freddie Green, yeah.
From the Count Basie big band. And he played block chords.
Right.
And the rhythm of what he did added a lot to the band too. It kind of, the guitar almost functioned like the hi-hat would on a drum set, you know. It kind of played off the 2 and 4 thing, you know. And in jazz, everything's on the up. It's duple feel. So all the music goes like this. It's that African, you know, thing. And so the straight guitar against that is a really hip thing. And so I got a lot of both rhythmic and harmony things from learning that music.
But the chord voicings and particularly the chord changes are not, they're not out of the Count Basie songbook.
Certainly.
Yeah.
No, I think, you know, those arrangements of those chords, you know, probably came from just, you know, listening to, you know, a lot of guys like, you know, Neil Young, who would kind of, you know, have these sort of acoustic, almost Americana-y sounding ballad type songs, but then there'd be 1 or 2 kind of strange chords in there, and then you'd look at them and you'd go, well, that makes sense. You know, and I feel like I just fit right into that bunch.
Okay. So it's a process. It's not a, I mean, and so I took it to a different place. I was thinking more sort of like Beatles kind of chord voicings, especially on that one, on Truth Is So Hard. But, you know, again, we tend to sort of tap into the things we're familiar with and what we remember. I do want to say that I just got back. Wait, before I do that, you mentioned you were in a lot of big bands. Tell me, wasn't there something like you're 16 and you're playing at Carnegie Hall with something? What was that?
That that was the essentially Ellington competition, which is something that Lincoln Center Jazz does, and it's a competition for high school music students who are learning to play jazz music. They have band categories and instrumentalist categories, and I went there with the Columbus Youth Jazz Orchestra, and we played a bunch of Duke Ellington compositions, excuse me, and I was the only kid there who didn't play a solo. I had an arch top. I didn't plug into an amp. They mic'd my guitar because I wanted to really sound like Freddie Green. So I, ironically, I did the least and I won the award. That was a great lesson for life. Don't try too hard. You know?
Did you have a sparkly sweater?
I was chewing gum the whole time, the Arts Council from the city of Columbus had come to watch us perform, and they were just horrified that I was on stage at Lincoln Center chewing gum. But for me, that was part of like locking in with the band. You know, I kind of chew. I was like a little cow in the band. I would just kind of chew along with the
your jaws going in
with
time.
the rhythm section. Yeah, that was kind of how I got into it. So
so wild. Wow, so that's a real legit path that a lot of contemporary popular musicians just never really visited. You know, to be that deep into a songbook and really studying and be hip to somebody like Freddie Green. And so you turned down the scholarship to Berkeley and just decided to move to New York City.
Yeah, I think I found Berkeley to be super intimidating because for me, you know, I was jazz guitar performance was my was the scholarship that I got awarded there. And when I got to school, you know, I did go for about 6 months, but it was kind of just like, man, I don't know if I have the facility as a jazz player to really do this in the way that a lot of these other guys are really gifted. You know,
you have to go. You have to just go, and
Yeah.
then once you go in, then there's you're making progress and you're doing great, and you're like a guy and you're getting the gigs, and then a 14-year-old kid shows up who kicks your ass.
Yeah,
It's
totally,
like,
man.
oh my God, I've just wasted all these years doing this because,
this guy's 14. You know.
chews gum.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, get him out of here.
So, well, let's bring it up a little more into the contemporary era. I have to say that I just got back last night from being on the road, and some hotel in the last few days, I turned on the TV, it was you in a cave with your band. It was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great.
That was super fun.
Yeah. And the band sounded great, and you were playing great, and a lot of energy. Good, just good. It was good. You know, again, we all know this. There are artists and there are bands that have pieces and parts that are really strong. This felt like all the stuff was strong.
Oh,
Good
thank you.
playing, good singing, good songs. Yeah.
It's hard to mess up in a cave because the sound travels for so long. It's very forgiving. So, you can play less and it seems like you're doing more, which that's my kind of environment, really.
Built for the underachiever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What's your best gig? The cave.
The cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm playing that cave in November, actually.
Have you done it before?
I did the other one, the other cave.
Yeah. You'll like the new one.
There's a new cave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Some good spelunking down there, for sure.
Yeah, these are caves in Tennessee that people have decided it would be a good idea to put concerts in. And the old cave was a little disconcerting because the opening was literally 6 feet by 6 feet. And you go in on a kind of a golf carty sort of thing, and it's quite a long ways. And then you get in, and there's this big, huge cavern and 700 people and a snack bar.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
In case
and
you
a
get hungry
huge
in the cave.
chandelier.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but now the new cave. I'm looking forward to seeing the new cave. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about this concept of karma for cheap, the title of your new record. So it's it's a good idea, right? Just to commoditize karma. It seems so appropriate.
It seemed like the right time for it.
Right. We've all been kind of counting on karma.
Yeah.
To eventually, be the great balancing act that we expected.
Right the ship. Yeah. I think it's an interesting time for everybody. I mean, aside from just, obviously, politically on both sides of the aisle, seems like there's a lot going on. But I think more than ever, as a culture and as a society, we're kind of looking at all of these, traditions and values and things that we've kept in as a part of our life and our country for so long, and we're kind of really looking at those now and going like, is this really right? And is this really something that you can put a price on, And so there's a lot of those kind of questions being asked. And I think a great rock and roll record doesn't answer those questions for you, but it maybe helps you, deal with the peril and the turmoil of asking those questions to begin with.
Yeah, and as heavy as it might be to sort of think about the songs that are about this sort of weird post-truth era or whatever we find ourselves in, the record's pretty fun.
Yeah, well, that was the idea, I think, was to kind of try and address something that's potentially kind of heavy in a more kind of cognitive, a less emotional, a less visceral way.
Yeah. Well, way on the opposite end of the spectrum, we're starting a new podcast series called purplestate.org that's just about trying to find common ground. Not nearly as fun, but we'll try anyway. But you're doing great. And I think that there are not a lot of people who can walk that fine line between being serious, being musical, being creative, being original, and having fun. I think of Chuck Prophet and maybe a few others, but there's
Chuck.
Yeah, there's not many. So, anyway, I really enjoyed the record. Really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
Let's get back to music.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Welcome back, if you would, Aaron Lee Tasjan.
One more night on these dirty sheets, all wrapped up in Atlantis. One more thought that I can't escape. One more singing.
Hi, this is Nick Forster from eTown. If you want to stay up to date with all the performances, interviews, and behind-the-scenes footage, click the subscribe button. Thanks.